Yes. No. Hey yo, welcome back to the Finance Mage. I don't really like the name, but it kind of gives an idea of what the channel's about. This is technically the second time I'm recording this video. The whole audio got corrupted. I recorded like 30 minutes, I think, and all of that had to be erased. On top of that, the camera was like right here on my face. It was cutting right here. So I'm recording the second take again today. In today's video, you've clearly seen that I'm going to be talking about the Discovery debit card. Basically, I'm going to be highlighting the reasons why I'm using the Discovery transactional debit account. So I went over 5 reasons in the previous video, and I'm going to touch upon those reasons again. I'm not pissed, I promise. So I was having a discussion with some of my friends who are using Capitec, that's level 1, you know, the legend, everyone loves it, yay, out hooray. About 9 months ago, I got pregnant. Joking. About 9 months ago, I was looking for the best debit card I could use or find on the market, and I came across this one. By this one, I mean the Global One account. Mainly, I was looking for a strong reward incentive account, number 1, cheap fees, number 2, and one that is suitable for students, you know. And I came across a bunch, but most people prefer using the Capitec one, mainly because it's cheap. My comparison ended up in the fact that Capitec is a good bank, sure, for cheap fees and lower cost transactions and stuff. But the savings account it really offered were like minuscule, not as great as they were on my NetBank account. I had a NetBank, that's why I decided to quit. It was offering me the best savings, but really the reason why I decided to quit was because I was not getting real value and I was getting charged for literally every single thing. It was double what Capitec charged. Anyways, I thought, why not find an alternative? Because these traditional banks are like ruining the way that we do banking, and it's no fun using a bank account because you're constantly scared you're going to be charged fees you don't understand. Hint, hint. Anyway, my market research led me to find a card that is going to offer me those 3 things, and I ended up joining Discovery for whatever reason. Now, mind you, when I was joining the Discovery, I also joined in the Vitality Health, which is a separate program. You can opt for it, and that also has the Vitality Active program. So yeah, Vitality Health is basically like life insurance as well as the card. So I combined both of those two and paid 244 rands a month for that, and for the most part it was great. It got me this watch, which is a Samsung Fit 3. You can check it out. It's a great watch when you're starting out with watches, smartwatches. I'm new to the watch game, never used one before in my life. So yeah, they really pushed me to get this watch, and it's been helping me, you know, track my health and other things and stuff. But I thought, you know what, since I did that last video, the Global One account, reviewing it, why not just do what I personally use on my daily account? And this is going to be the Discovery transactional account. This is 30 rands a month, and most people are like, this is way too expensive for a student to be using. 30 rands is far too much. But here are the reasons why it's actually not as expensive as you think it is. I'll also mention some of the cool perks the card has, of course, and stick around till the end of the video to see the main benefits of why I'm still around with this card till this day. Like 9 months later, I'm still part of this. So yes, like I said, most of my friends use Capitec a lot of the times, and I wasn't really sold because I looked at Capitec savings accounts and I was like, I mean, they have a lot of savings options you can use, but I'm not really impressed about the interest rates that you're getting. And since they shift around the interest rates a lot every single year, it fucking sucks that, you know, you don't get to the best value from Capitec in terms of savings. I mean, it's still helpful, but not for me. So I looked around and I saw Standard Bank is another great option for students because it's connected with Varsity Vibe. And if you've watched like my first ever video, the first ever finance video that I posted on this channel does mention Varsity Vibe and how it works and what it is. And if you guys are interested in me making a video about Varsity Vibe, please write it down in the comments. Great. What mainly drew me to this is because, well, this bank sort of understands my needs, what I'm looking for, the rewards, the perks, and incentives, right? As well as the strong savings that I was looking for. And I needed something that was going to basically be easy to use on day-to-day. The main thing with Discovery also was the fact that it's a psychological bank. It's a behavioral changing bank, and there's science behind it. And you know me, I'm a science and tech nerd. But yeah, it's actually working. Before I was on Discovery, I was on NetBank, and I was looking for a savings feature, and NetBank was great. But I really struggled saving. They didn't incentivize me to save. Yes, they had great percentages on their savings, but you know, you're like, okay, but what else? There's just nothing. I'm getting charged still. So I get charged on every single swipe, on every single transaction that I do. Same with every other transactional account, but with NetBank it's a bit expensive because it's technically a corporate bank if you think about NetBank. I don't know, I should do a video about the types of banks available in the world basically. But yeah, I lacked the incentive to kind of start saving with NetBank, so I was looking for something that was kind of like a coach or a guidance to get me into saving. I didn't enjoy saving. I don't think anyone in the right mind enjoys saving. I think we enjoy spending that savings. That's the fun part. But anyway, that is another reason why I lean strongly into this bank, the reward incentive. So far, Capitec did tick some of the criteria, but it lacked on most of them, which I did mention. Many savings account, but too little interest rates. They have a great app, simple, easy to follow. That I like, but it felt limited. The fees are on every single thing that you're swiping on, you're paying for. So that means it's quite expensive if you really think about it. But what really set me off or made me stay away from Capitec really was the fact that it didn't really have strong reward incentives. So they do have this Live Better feature, which I did mention in my previous video. I admired that because it has something called the Roundup feature. If you're a Capitec user or you're not, it's fine, I'll explain it to you anyway. Roundup's savings feature is basically a feature that they have. Let's say you're buying this heavy water bottle for like, I don't know, 45 rands. What Capitec Roundup Savings does is basically it rounds up that 45 rand to 50 bucks. So when you're paying for that, it's going to be worth 50 bucks. But what it's actually doing is it's taking that difference and it's putting it in your savings account. So your savings account has 5 rands more. So it does this on every single swipe, I think, or on some swipes. When there's leftover change, it kind of takes that and saves it for you. And that's a fucking brilliant, cool feature. I love that about Capitec, and I would have joined that had I not seen Discovery. So one of the main things that drew me to the Discovery account is going to be the Discovery Miles. It's basically Discovery Bank's reward incentive. It's basically Vitality, if you really think about it. So it's a reward system by Vitality. But I just want to clarify the Discovery Miles stuff first, just to get that one out of the way, because we know Discovery Miles well. You've probably seen it when you're doing your online shopping and Take a Lot, and you know that Discovery Miles are great, they're fantastic, but what do they do? In line with these, you see when you're going to Take a Lot, you'll find something called eBucks owned by this brand, which I do not recommend you to get this, okay? If you are a student, stay away from this bank. FNP is really something else. But anyway, with Discovery Miles, you can basically pay for everything. When you're on Take a Lot, you can pay with your Discovery Miles, and you can even do Part Pay. Part Pay is just basically saying if you're buying an item with 1,500 rands, and you have 500 Discovery Miles in your bank account, you can pay a bit of that with your Discovery Miles and the rest with your cash. It's really convenient in that sense. Another feature that is cool about the Discovery Miles, which I've mentioned here, is the fact that you get discounts on the Discovery Miles. So you get cashback, which are the Discovery Miles, right? But they also have their own discount. So when I'm, for example, buying an item worth 500 bucks, right? Because I have this card, which has its own program called the Vitality Money, because it's a bank card. I've explained this again. If you don't understand any of this, please go back and watch my Discovery video as well as my Vitality video. They explain this in detail. Anyway, this basically means that I can, redeem my Discovery Miles for just a smaller portion than it actually is worth. So I get 5% off my Discovery Miles currently because I have this account. So instead of spending, like, let's say 500 Discovery Miles, I'd be spending, it's an example, I can't do the quick math, but I'd be spending 495 rands instead of, 500 rands. And on D-Day, which is the 15th of every month, when you swipe with your Discovery Miles, you basically get 10%. So instead of it being the normal 5% in your Discovery Miles, it becomes 10%, which is very helpful. It has given me a lot of cash back this way. I've done a lot of purchases around the 15th. And the fact that it kind of gets you to save around that time. It's like you're trying to save some cash and you also have your Discovery Miles ready. So it kind of makes you spend responsibly. Discovery Miles really incentivize you a lot to get into them. Now, I'm gonna go to the next spot, which is gonna be the Gameboard Play. Now, you will notice that I put up 2 topics here, the Gameboard Play as well as the Financial Analyzer. So, being in line with the Gameboard Play, the way that you get Discovery Miles on this card specifically is there is a certain spend limit you have every single week. So they'll maybe tell you have to spend a minimum of 300 rands, for example. And once you reach that spend limit, something magical happens. You get an option to either play a game board, or you can just redeem your reward. You get an instant play, let's call it like that. If you meet your spend goal that week, you get one play. So what does this mean? It means that you can go and get a regular coffee at Vida Cafe, Kauai, or Mug and Bean, or you can donate the cash that you get from that. So yeah, the instant reward feature gets activated upon you swiping and reaching that goal, or that spend goal. Or you could wait it out. After you reach your spend goal, you have to wait for the next Wednesday. Every Wednesday there's a game board play, which is kind of like gambling. I'm not gonna lie. So it has a board, a bunch of tiles. I'll show maybe on the screen here. You'll get to this board and you'll have to select one tile. We only have one play. You have to select one tile, and behind this tile is going to be a discovery mile value. It could be anything, it's random. But as far as I know, I've never gotten anything below 10 discovery miles. Everything is just about that. So you could get 10 discovery miles cashback every week. So every single week when you're swiping, which you are already gonna be doing anyway, every single week when you're swiping, you're gonna get a game board play when you meet that spend goal. And let's say your spend goal increases, right? It's going to increase every single week. Maybe next week they're gonna ask for spending the spend limit of 400 rands. You're gonna have to spend 400 rands, and then the next week, if you meet that, you're gonna get 500 rands and stuff. And you get to a point where you no longer can reach that goal. The nice part is that literally goes down and meets you back where you can spend. So there's going to be some weeks where you don't actually reach your goals, and that's fine. That is completely normal. So you shouldn't spend outside of your budget, but this is a helpful tool to getting you discovery miles. So you can understand how this is kind of incentivizing you to spend, but also at the same time to keep you within your limits, which brings me to the next feature called the financial analyzer. One other thing that you pay for here, basically in this same 30 rand package, is something called the financial analyzer, and it basically just drafts up a budget of how much you're spending, where you're spending, where your income coming from, what expenses you have, and it's useful. For a person who doesn't budget that much, I didn't really care what I was spending on. Not that I spent a lot, but it really, I didn't really care where all the money went. And since there are no like surprise transactions here, like another bank. Anyway, yeah, I didn't have any surprise, charges in this bank, so I could see how much extra change I had at the end of the month. And upon playing my game board, I could then use my discovery miles at any store that I like, any partner store, redeem those, or I could turn them into cashback if that store doesn't accept discovery miles. Immediately, you can get them instantly. Your discovery miles are the biggest crucial point here. And sometimes the 30 rand fee that you're paying every month is offset by the discovery miles. So on some months, you don't even have to pay for your monthly fee because you get the cashback from your spending. So it kind of evens it out, and it's a brilliant feature, I might add. So the financial analyzer will tell you how much you're spending, where you're spending it, and on what, and it'll have an alert if you go over the budget. For example, if you spend too much on airtime, on clothing, that sort of stuff. So it's a very helpful feature, and it really kind of puts you in the space of being aware of what you're spending on. And that's kind of helping you save more if you really think about it. Like if I have this extra cash that I'm saving up on, or I spend this too much on this item, maybe I could cut down and take some of that and put it in my savings. I did want to add one feature, but technically this is supposed to fall under the discovery miles, but it's fine. Sometimes on some months when you don't want to spend your discovery miles maybe on your monthly fee, you can just take that leftover cash and you can just put it in your savings account, which is the perfect segue to our next category called the savings goal. So the savings goal works with vitality status. So vitality status, again, if you haven't seen the video, is basically just, the blue, the bronze, the silver, the gold, and the diamond statuses. And those basically are your financial behaviors. If your financial behaviors are adding up well, like if you have a good credit to usage, you save a lot, you have a retirement fund, you have an insurance, and you also have properties that you're managing, which at this age we don't have. So we're not going to really need that feature. Anywho, savings goal is basically what incentivized me to look at this one, because its savings were kind of akin to NetBank's savings. They're not as far off. They're great, but what really sold me is something called the demand savings account. This is basically what I use for an emergency fund. So you have quick access to access your money here, but you also earn interest on it. You get 5% interest. So the difference being that your vitality status affects your savings goal in the sense that if you increase your vitality status, meaning that you follow these 5 financial behaviors, your interest is dynamic, and so it kind of increases as well, and it will decrease if your financial statuses are not met. That's as simple as that. Beyond that, demand savings account, which is what I use as an emergency savings account. I have a notice savings account, which I just put all of my money there and I don't have quick access to it. I can claim it like 30 days or 90 days. It depends on the type of notice that I have, which is great. And the savings rate is not as bad. The next is going to be really just platform integration and the customer service. So I had a scenario where I borrowed my mom my card and she kind of forgot my PIN. And she tried it a bunch of times. Basically, she had her own money inside of my account, and yeah, at the time I didn't really need to use the account. In any case, she put in the wrong PIN, and I had to phone the bank, and I was like, because they don't have branches, I had to phone them, and I was like,
guys, my mom is...
Well, I didn't say my mom actually. I was like,
I'm stranded. I need assistance.
And they were like, all right, bet, what happened? And I told them, I explained the situation. It's like, I forgot my PIN. I recently just got this card. I don't know what to do. I'm panicking. I'm stranded somewhere. This lady on the call center was very helpful, and she was like, yes, I understand a lot of people do forget their PIN, probably not, but she was being nice anyway. I appreciate that. I can't remember her name, but I would give her a shout out right now. But in any case, she was like, yeah, do you know what, your card is blocked for safety reasons, so you can't really use it, but it will reset after a day and stuff. And I was worried. I was like, okay, but what do I do because I'm stranded? And she was like, it's fine, if the store that you're at accepts Discovery Miles, you could use those, or you could just give them your account number and they could just, do something with that. You can, I don't know, I forgot what she was saying about that, but yeah. The third thing that I could do was to actually use a voucher. So I could use an OTT voucher, I could use a Blue voucher and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, great. This is very helpful, thank you. I didn't use any of what she recommended though.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
So it was just nice to know that I had options. So now I know how to use a voucher. And she talked me through it. She literally used a feature that they have in the bank called Live Assist. And basically it had monitoring of what I was doing, and she could see everything I was going through. And so she could like point me and then tell me where to press and how to do something like that. I didn't even have mobile data at the time. So it was nice to know that I could just do this for free. And I was not even charged for this. But the call center did have to have airtime for that. Just to clarify. The platform too, like the app is very simple. That's where you get the card. The first time I downloaded it from the Play Store, I signed up and I got the card literally in 3 days. The DMV guys came to my house in 3 days, and which was like quick. And they phoned throughout the process. Did you receive the card? Have you activated it? How is the card so far? Are you having any troubles? Please let us know and stuff like that. I appreciate that from a bank. So yeah, very helpful stuff, and the platform was easy. I could find everything I was looking for. The app was easy to navigate, almost just as easy as the Global One account, and that really made me happy. And finally, I said I was going to talk about this feature at the end. This is the feature now: flights and the flight discounting. Basically, I wanted to add that before I can get into the discounts of the flights. You can technically at South African Airways get lounge access using your Discovery Miles with this card, and you can just pay with the Discovery Miles, they accept that. But if they don't, and you want to get into the lounge anyway, and you have Discovery Miles left over, just convert them immediately. They are there, and you can use them as cash and then pay with those, which is a helpful feature. Not that I've used this feature, but it can come in handy. And yeah, I suppose that's one thing I wanted to mention. But besides that, this card, the debit card, you have a flight discount. You get 10% off on local flights and 10% off on international flights. Plus, on the international flights, you do get insurance, travel insurance cover. So that's amazing. If you don't know, this might seem like it's a useless feature for a student or a person who's on the budget. But let's say you're getting on your first flight, and it happens that the flight is quite expensive. That 10% can be very helpful. I know, I get it, 10% is not a lot. But if you think about it, there are travel platforms that you can book on, and they give you their own discount.
Disclaimer, I have to specify that you need to use their Vitality Travel Rewards program to book your flight in order to get the 10% discount, and it really comes from their partner airlines. With that said, my logic here is a bit flawed. This means that you'll only be getting 10% at a given time. So you can't stack deals on top of each other. And if you want to extend your offerings with Discovery, you're going to have to upgrade your account from the one that I have and get a better one. So yeah, my bad fam. I really thought this was going to work out for us, but we're locked into the ecosystem.
But yeah, essentially this flight discount is very beneficial or great if you think about it. Local flights, you get 10% off. Now on their website, they do say you get 25%, which is completely and wholly misleading. You only get that 25% or that additional 15% from Vitality Health integration. So like if you add insurance, health insurance or medical aid to your card, as well as the Vitality Premium product, and then you only get that additional 15% after your health check, and it becomes 25% off. So yeah, just letting you know, if you didn't do anything on this card, as plain as it comes like this, you're going to be getting 10% base rate. So yeah, it's great. I mean, if you're traveling with Capitec, I suppose you'd still be paying for the same rate. Not that I'm trying to make them square off or anything, because I think Capitec is genuinely great. I would use it if we didn't have Discovery, for sure. So yeah, this has been most of the features and stuff like that I really wanted to highlight and share about why I'm paying for this card. It's like $30. Mainly it's the savings account and the vitality feature, the behavioral change in terms of me not being able to save, but really it now helps me structure how to save and how to budget without really needing to think about it, because it has systems of its own. And the discovery amounts, which are reward incentives, which you can use on just about everything: airtime, electricity, vouchers on cinema. If you want to go on a date and you want to pay for the thing for cheap, you can get that feature. But yeah, I hope this video is insightful or helped you see why some people are moving over to this bank instead of the FNB or other traditional banks. I would say it and Capitec are neck and neck. They offer valuable features, and really you can start to see why I don't mind paying $30 every month as compared to $750 when I'm getting this much value. And yeah, I've managed to save about, I think in the last 6 months I've gotten 500, 600 rands of Discovery miles, but honestly that was from a mixture of the Vitality Money and the Vitality Health, and it got me this watch in that sense, because I had both the program of the card of the bank as well as the insurance that I had at the time, which I closed off, by the way. And I was able to save up, I think, 1,500 rands more on top of that. And this watch, I waited for Black Friday discount so I can get it. So it was a lot cheaper than it normally was, and so I was able to buy it and still save some money on my savings account. So I have a good savings now, health watch, which does help me track, my fitness levels and stuff like that. So I now have a better structured day because of the watch and stuff like that, because trust me, I was like messy and stuff. But yeah, it's amazing to really see the value that a bank could just put in your life, and not just taking out money and stuff. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, and they're like,
no, this is way too expensive.
But honestly, it's genuinely great. Now, the drawbacks from using this bank, I will say, is that you can't really withdraw any money from this account because it's quite expensive. Like, I think you are charged 7 rand 75 cents, which is like 8 rands. 100 rand you withdraw, which is crazy. I would have never guessed. I think part of the reason is because they don't actually have physical branches, and therefore they don't have actual cash reserves. The nice bit is that you can withdraw at any bank, I suppose, if you want to do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just use a second account. In this case, maybe just have the Discovery as well as the Capitec Global One and partner them up together. And for like withdrawals or cash transactions, use your Capitec. Just transfer the money from your Discovery to your Capitec and do that. But really, link your virtual card to your Discovery and you're going to be good to go if you're a person who just swipes, which is perfect for me because I don't need actual cash. Just swipe, tap to pay or whatever, and it's been great for that. And yeah, I guess you can then have an understanding of the ecosystem, and you may start building up to get a better product from here on out. Like they have the black debit card as well as the platinum debit card. But I'm not talking about those because I don't have them. I'm only talking about this because I actually have real experience with it. I've been using it for like 9 months and stuff. And so far, I don't want to change banks. Yes, the fee did go up a lot from last year, but so did every single banking fee across the country. So yeah, I'm going to stick with this bank for now. There are 2 types of this account. There's the transactional account, which I'm using as a student, and there is the bundled fees one, which is a lot more expensive. I think you pay 155 rands a month for that, and people tend to confuse them. This is basically the same debit card product, but they are different. The one that I'm using, the transactional account Pay-As-You-Use, is basically a Pay-As-You-Use service. You get charged on every single swipe or something like that. Not on every single swipe. I do have some other stuff to add, but I can't really remember it, so I'll just do voiceovers if I get the chance, or just do a post-edit shoot or something like that.
And I guess that's how you make cham. Oh shit. The weather is very nice today's. I just remembered another difference between the transactional account that I use and the one that is 155 rands. On their Gameboard plays, you get a chance to unlock a partner tile, basically this one, where you can unlock 500 Discovery miles or 1,000 Discovery miles, depending on the product that you have. Glad that cleared things up.
I should do like a comparison product where I'm like looking at the prices and stuff and I detail what actually gets charged. And I haven't had any surprise fees from this bank at all. Like genuinely everything is just mentioned when you're reading through the price list and how much the card actually costs. And then there is the 155 rand one. That one has a tier of its own, and I don't know how people just don't see that it's 155 rand one. This one just bundles your fees, so whether you're using the card or not, you're paying 155 rands so that you don't get charged maybe on debit orders, on withdrawals. I think you get 4 free withdrawals of 3, but yeah, that's the difference between those two. And this one you pay 30 rands, and you have to every single swipe. There's some charges on certain transactions, but let me know if you got confused along this video. I'd really appreciate it if you went to the comments and typed easy in capital letters. This shows me that you got this far in the video. I appreciate you tuning in, and yeah, road to 100 subscribers. Please subscribe before July.